Okay, so before we start, I once again need to do a bit of set dressing.
Don't you dare, don't you dare! Oh, come on! Where the fuck are you getting these from?
Don't know what you're talking about.
Just shut up, stop talking, cease and desist, there's a good girl. Go, 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 go.
Moisturize me, moisturize me.
Damn, son.
We are now outnumbered.
Completely. Even if we're not talking about those guys.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, welcome back to Never Ever Eat Pears. We're in real trouble,
I
guys.
don't feel welcome.
Oh.
There's too many pairs. We have pair number 4, everybody,
Yeah.
which is very upsetting.
And we will be covering in today's episode The Mummy of the Orient Express.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've got a thing to read, don't I? The number of evil twice over, they that bear the foretold stare have 66 seconds to live. So the episode opens with a very kind of classic, not classic, but a reboot classic opening where we see nothing about the Doctor or companion. It's just a soon to be dead.
Another soon to be dead
Yeah.
individual.
It's a elderly lady on a train, because I don't think we get to see much about the train yet. It's
No,
just
I think
from
we're just
the
on a
shot.
train carriage with
Yeah.
like great Gatsby-esque kind of style, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's,
And
very 1920s.
and she's having a lovely dinner with a younger lady that we find out is her.
Granddaughter?
I want to say that was her aunt.
Oh,
Yeah, I think it might have been. So that was her niece.
who knows?
Don't know.
Younger relation.
Yes.
We'll go with that.
And then she looks around over her shoulder, and she's like, "Oh, who's that nasty beastie?
Yeah, who's that mummy
Who's
monster?
that man in the cloth?" And no one else can see the creature as it slowly and weirdly, foot snappy backwards,
Yeah, really
shuffles
weird feet going on.
its way towards her.
We've also got a little timer in the corner of our screens,
Yes, we do.
which is very strange.
We have 66 seconds counting down.
66 seconds.
What do you think about now? This may sound weird with me saying, what do you think about this very classic design of a mummy? Because it's not. It is.
It's essentially a classic design, isn't it?
Yeah.
Slightly creepier, I think. And I think, if I remember correctly, they didn't show it in the trailer for the series because it was deemed too scary for kids at the time, because the trailer would have aired earlier than the episode.
Oh, I see.
Time-wise.
Right.
But I like it. I think it's good.
Yeah.
I think it's that same gent that plays quite a few of the lanky monsters. He's got that wonderful slow movement, and just
I'm not the same guy from The Shape of Water.
no.
Oh, I thought you
don't
meant,
know.
like,
Not
within
him.
industry.
Not Doug Jones. No,
Yeah, I love him.
He's fantastic. There's a guy that plays quite a lot of the Doctor Who monsters when they're very tall. I think it's the same guy that played the Fisher King later on, body wise anyway. But yeah, I think it's really nice. I think it's a really nice, not clean, because it's not clean, but it's a nice clean cut mummy.
Yeah.
You know what it is, but it's creepy.
They could have at any point gone over the top and tried to futurize this creature.
Yeah.
Especially when you find out later on what it is.
What it is, but-
But it is a very much this is like a cliche.
It's a mummy.
creature.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
I like it. What do you think?
Yeah. It's certainly very harrowing, and the fact again, it's one of those beautiful Doctor Who creatures that is in no rush to get to you, but
Yes,
it will.
it's got its time frame.
Yeah, and very much. Well, this one more so than anyone.
Very
but,
specific.
I think that makes it more menacing. It's tall. It's gaunt.
Yeah.
It's ticking off all the boxes
it is.
of a scary mummy.
Creepy
creature.
teeth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This thing ain't using toothpaste. This thing shuffles towards this elderly lady, and she's recoiling in her chair.
Yeah.
And doesn't she call over a guard? And she's like, "Good sir, I'll have your job if you."
Yeah, very much. Yeah. The poor sod's going, I can't know what you're talking about. I can't see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's getting more and more visibly and audibly upset.
Yeah.
I think the rest of the passengers are starting to have a look, aren't they?
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
So I was about. I was about to. I realised how niche of a question this was because I was going to ask you: have you ever been on public transport and had like an elderly lady just start kicking off?
I actually have.
Have you
Yeah.
actually? Oh my god!
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just I can't even remember what she was upset about, but she was very
mummy.
upset. And the mummy, yeah, who knows? But she was very upset.
Oh, okay.
And this, I assume it was her daughter because she was like a middle-aged woman sitting next to her, was trying so hard to calm her down.
Oh my god!
And it was just, it wasn't fun. Bless her.
No.
Like she
But-
eventually calmed herself down. Still can't remember for the life of me what it was about. But everyone was staring. I felt
God.
really, really bad for the fucker. And it's just like, oh. But yeah,
Oh wow! Well, I suppose then more so for you because you've witnessed that. But did you think they did well, kind of like showing the uncomfortability of the rest of the passengers around this lady?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Especially like whoever the younger was it Maisie.
I don't know.
I think it's Maisie.
I'm assuming you're talking about the possible granddaughter.
The granddaughter
slash
slash niece. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's trying really hard to be like, shush, calm down, but also trying to
Keep on doing this, grandma.
Yeah, stop it. But like also trying not to make much of a scene herself to try and like
Yeah.
calm it. Like, yeah, I thought it was done very very realistically.
Yeah. And as the mummy gets closer, it kind of like puts both its hands on either side of her face, and like in the
Again,
last
which
couple
is
of seconds,
very creepy.
yeah, it's got like full. But that's when that happens to someone, because you can do that in like a loving way, like if you're doing like a passionate kiss to someone, but at the same time you are restricting their sight. You're making them feel enclosed and
Yeah.
claustrophobic. That's awful.
It can be a very nasty move
Yeah.
to do. Yeah,
And those are her last couple of seconds.
That's
'cause
it.
when the clock strikes zero, she
did.
She did.
she did. She just slumps down dead.
I love what the niece slash granddaughter says. She doesn't say something like she died or she's something like that. She just says she stopped.
She stopped. Yeah, she
That-
just stopped.
Yeah, that's weird.
It's a weird way of talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, with no other context towards this era's regard of death.
I suppose it makes more sense with when you find out later, because don't you find out that the elderly lady had some kind of like life support system?
Yeah, she's in a wheelchair that's got the life support system.
Yeah.
She's supposedly like over 100 years old or something, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, and she just stopped.
So I suppose that's a very kind of, because this is in the future, right?
I don't know.
Well-
I would assume it is.
Okay, a futuristic technology in an area of space we don't know about.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be in our future, but just a futuristic sci-fi-ish technology.
Yeah.
So it's a very kind of sci-fi way, kind of like reducing someone down to a machine. It's just stopped,
Yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah.
And then we get our credits. So this
do.
episode is written by Jamie Matheson. It's written by Jamie.
Jamie, well done, Jamie.
Our guy Jamie. And I was so worried for such the shortest period of time when the TARDIS materializes and the Doctor and Clara walk out, because the way that they're talking to each other, I thought for a moment they just swept everything under the carpet from the previous episode.
Yep.
Because they are acting
Like,
just
fine.
like
Yeah.
they would usually would.
It's like, here we are on our next adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is very quickly established that everything from the last episode did happen. It was the last thing that happened, at least for the two of them. And this is, in Clara's words, the last hurrah.
Yeah. This is their their last trip together. It's their goodbye trip. Supposedly a nice, calm, quiet train. Yeah.
But I do now. This might be going too in depth. We do it a lot on this podcast.
We
don't
do.
mean-
We go in
We
depth.
don't mean to. We don't mean to make it real, but we do. sometimes. But when the Doctor's talking about her smile, and
yeah.
that kind of like immediately made me think of things like, and I know it's not the same compared to the Doctor and Clara's relationship, but things like an abusive relationship where you don't know unless you're very close to the person in question that they're going through this kind of turmoil, and they will put on a smile when they're confronted with unfamiliar groups of people or lesser friends or things like that.
Yeah.
That's at least it immediately made me think of.
Yeah.
Don't know about you, but
Yeah, no, it was very much holding your emotions
Yeah.
back for the sake of appearance, wasn't it? Which is sad.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
Why didn't the Doctor just take... I know, again, I don't know why I'm saying why didn't the Doctor do this, because it's very clear that Capaldi's not once thinking about this.
Yeah.
But, you know, again, if he wanted like a nice departure... And I'm answering my own question, because then I realised later in the episode that it was kind of... He was wanting to do it anyway,
yeah.
but... Which is fucked. But...
Yeah, and she's rightly very angry with him again.
Yep.
Yeah.
But just as a moment within that episode, surely just go to somewhere that has nice shit to look at, but you're the only two there.
Yeah, go somewhere quiet.
Yeah, because then you can be your authentic self. You don't need to pretend.
Yeah.
But again, that's not within the Doctor's understanding.
It's not, is it? Yeah.
No.
He's just... I don't know. I assume part of him's gone, maybe this will be a nice train for her. He'll do what, you know, he thinks he needs to, but, you know...
Do you feel like the Doctor's still trying to grapple with the concept of this relationship potentially ending?
Yes.
Because he goes through that point where Clara's trying her best to explain the fact that she doesn't hate him and that she never could, but she just couldn't do this anymore. And then the Doctor's like, can I talk about the planets
Can I talk
now?
about the planets now? Yeah.
So he clearly just wants to go back to how it was and trying his best to ignore the elephant in the room, the subject that they need to kind of talk
He's doing a
about.
coping mechanism, and he, bless him. He's
Yeah.
just like, no, I can't deal with this right now. Because, you know, it's like Vastra said at the very first episode, like, he needs you. I still think he does. He hasn't got to a point where he's comfortable enough with his new regeneration yet.
No.
He does still need her, but in his weird way, he does realise that she needs to go at this point. So, yeah, I think he is doing the...
Yeah.
I'm going to put on a brave face for you, pretend like everything's normal, and then by the end of this, we're off.
So, don't we get... I think I've written down a note for... Yeah, we get an amazing version of Don't Stop Me Now.
We do, by Foxes, yeah.
Yeah, it's so good!
It's such a good... such a good rendition.
And don't we finally get to see what
Where
kind of
we're
train we're travelling on? Yeah, we're travelling on an intergalactic weird worm carriage
Space train. Yeah. On some... I can't remember... He does explain it, doesn't he, what kind of tracks they're on, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vague.
Space tracks.
Space
Yeah, but yeah, because they've gone from where they've landed in like the baggage cart or something, haven't they? Through into the dining hall or something. There's passengers everywhere.
The Doctor says something. I felt like it's a little bit heartbreaking when Clara steps out and she says, "Oh, lovely," and the Doctor says something like, "Thank you for lying."
Oh yeah, because he's come out in his tux, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. This is where we see him with his like little cowboy.
Yeah.
Cowboy-esque tie. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, I love him so much. I can't.
So the Doctor's talking about this black hole that, for whatever reason, the train, much like the TARDIS, is just ignoring the fact that the black hole is the black hole and going straight past it.
Yeah.
And he's talking about the planets and stuff that used to be there 1,000 years ago. And then we get to see our aunt's...
I'm calling her Maisie. I'm pretty sure her name's Maisie.
Okay, for ease, we're going
let's
to call her
stick with Maisie.
Yeah, we're going to call her Maisie.
Or Daisy. Let's go with Maisie. Let's go with Maisie.
So Flormarsh Frazee comes over and says, calls him a liar.
Yeah, straight off the bat,
Straight
doesn't
off
she?
the bat.
She's like, "You're a liar."
Yeah.
He's like, "I'm sorry, what?" Yeah.
Now,
which, you know, is a very fair response.
yeah,
if
she has gone through some kind of like
she's gone through some shit.
She's gone through some stuff. I don't know why she's still... I'm not saying that she shouldn't be allowed to roam around. But, like, why hasn't the captain or, like, manager of the carriage just taken her to her room and been like, maybe you should sit out here for a little bit?
Do we know how long it's been since?
I want to say that it's not that long at all.
Is it not?
I don't think you... I don't know. What do they do with the body? Surely they don't just open a door and be like, yeet.
I don't know. Because next time we see the chair, it's empty.
I don't know. But they're still on the same train journey.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that there's like... This isn't like travelling the Southeast Line.
No,
so it's
yeah,
not like
exactly.
a
It's
stop
not
every
over an
10
hour.
minutes. This is like a long train journey. But
I don't know.
still...
I hadn't thought about that.
No. I don't know.
But yeah, either way.
She's been put in a box.
Yeah,
It's
she's in a box.
unsightly to have the elderly lady...
Probably in the
sitting
freezer.
there dead.
In the kitchen.
Oh my God. The old lady is the mommy.
Yeah, no, I agree. She should not be...
Yeah.
wandering.
But she is.
She is wandering.
She full on ouses the Doctor for being, well, in her words, a liar, because she can't get around her head that this man
Has been to a planet that's been dead for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't we then...
Do we meet the captain at that point?
Yeah, because the captain comes over and asks them who they are, and the doctor says something like he's a doctor of intestinal worms or some
think
shit
so,
like
yeah.
that. I don't know.
Or cheese?
It's definitely something to do with like.
At some point, he's a doctor of cheese, but I can't remember.
I don't
where.
know if it's this episode.
I don't know. But I think it's intestinal parasites. or
Yeah, something like that. Because the way that he says it makes it sound like that he's almost calling them that.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
which she's like, oh no, maybe she was right. You are a bit of a prick.
You're an actual dick.
And so I can't remember what point it is, but we also meet a rather mysterious guy. He's just a guy. The way that he's dressed, he seems like someone who would like be shoveling coal into a steam engine. Or
Oh, yeah, no, we haven't met him yet.
have we not met him yet?
No,
okay.
we meet him at the same time we find the empty chair.
Yes.
'Cause then-
Okay. So where what have we got leading up to that? Yeah, I don't know if I've got it in my notes. So
Because, yeah, the doctor needs to know that there's a mystery going on because he goes poking around,
yeah,
finds the chair, is poking around the chair, and then
Frank
Skinner goes, oi.
yeah, and then we got that guy. So
I don't remember how we got to that point.
nah, I'm sure there was something, but yeah, we'll carry on. So he meets what is it, Frank? Is it Frank Skinner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel we're missing a chunk because he meets Frank Skinner without Clara.
Yeah, don't. Oh, they go to their respected rooms.
They do.
Yeah.
But then he has to leave. Wait, but we're missing a bit. I'm sure we're missing a bit.
No, I think they do just go to their respective.
Has he not spoken to some guy about the?
No.
Has he not? Because
No.
he leaves the room because
Yeah.
he's talking about it being a mummy on the Express, and he's got to find out
Okay.
where it's
Well,
going. We're so lost.
it doesn't matter. We'll tackle both these scenes. We don't know if they're in the right order. So Clara and the doctor, they go to their respective rooms, and doesn't Clara phone up Danny?
Yeah, and lies.
Why? Why? We were at I'm not going to say we're at a nice point of the relationship, but we were at a bearable point where it seems like this relationship could be salvageable. At this point, it is not.
No.
Because she has once again
Lying to him. Because he's saying, "Are you safe?"
Yeah.
She says yes.
Yeah.
Knowing full well
She's just like, oh, it's just a
someone's
boring
been murdered
Yeah.
on the plane. On the plane? On the it's essentially a plane. It's running through space.
Yeah.
Yeah. She knows full well someone has been murdered on this train.
Yeah.
They don't know who it is, and she's telling him she's fine.
Yeah. And I don't know.
And that the doctor's accepting of this
Yeah.
ultimatum, essentially, that Danny has given
Yeah.
Clara.
So while that's going on, you can see the doctor's kind of alone rattling off about
He's
like
chatting to himself, isn't
he is. I think he's trying to not investigate it, but he's still like building himself up to do just that.
Doesn't he chat about that he's like 98% sure that he's fine, and then it suddenly drops to 70%, and he's like, "Oh, are you sure? You've just lost 12%,"
Yeah.
or something ridiculous. Yeah, he's chatting to himself about his percentages.
Yeah. And don't both of them leave their respected kind of cabins at more or less the same time, but they go in opposing directions?
Yeah, I think he leaves first and like is about to knock on her door, realizes that maybe he shouldn't, and leaves. And then as soon as he's out of frame, I think she comes out and goes the opposite way.
So let's deal with what. No, because I think you're right. I think we're getting to the bottom of the mystery of where we fucked up.
Yeah, I think so.
I think he must have seen that guy prior to that, because don't they then go off to the room where the casket is, which also has the chair in it, which the doctor couldn't.
I
then...
think
Oh,
Clara.
fuck.
I think Clara finds Maisie, who is
Yeah.
trying to get into the room to find
Isn't she brandishing a heel?
a heel to,
Yeah.
to smash the lock. And the doctor ends up in a room by himself looking at the chair, and then
Oh, okay.
Frank Skinner pops up and goes, "Why are you fiddling with the chair?"
Okay, these
That
are
would
two
be
separate
suspicious."
locations.
Two separate locations.
Cool, brilliant. Okay, I think we're
But
getting
I think the doctor's spoken to
beans.
the professor
Yeah.
beforehand
Old
and
professor.
found out a little bit
Okay.
about what they think has killed the lady.
Yeah. Okay, we're still
But I don't know.
going to do it in this order
I
because fuck
literally
it.
watched this last night, and I
Yeah,
have not been able to get my head
I've
around
watched this
it.
episode twice, but it doesn't matter. We're gonna be talking about most scenes. Doesn't matter what episode. Doesn't matter what order they're in.
It's timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So Flormarche comes up with the heel.
Yeah.
And doesn't she like try to smash the door or something?
Yeah, and then the computer goes call me Gus.
Yeah.
This is not a room for you, essentially. You need a special authorization for this room.
And Clara then starts like messing with the door.
Yeah,
loose or
and she's
whatever.
like, don't worry, I've got a friend who's really good with locks. And then Maisie's like, smash.
Yeah.
And then they get in.
And they are met with the sight of the casket. Yeah.
Got a sarcophagus, haven't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because then okay, so we've done that scene. The doctor's found the chair. It's a big fuck off chair, and then,
Yeah.
and
He's looking at the life support system, isn't it? And
Yeah.
it just shut off. Yeah.
okay. So now let's talk about our professory guy. Isn't he like into demonology, or
Yeah.
he's got something to do with that? Some kind of
Ancient history or something.
some kind of link.
He's
to
an
the paranormal.
expert in myths or something.
Yeah, he's what Alex Jones would become if
Yeah.
like a cryptid fanatic,
Yeah.
but if he was accepted and renowned by society. So that's when we hear the myth or the riddle that I spoke at the beginning of the episode.
Yes.
And they kind of work out that when the mummy appears, they'll have 66 seconds. And hopefully they'll be able to work out from that point from the potential victim of what this thing is.
Yeah.
And back with Clara, don't we find out that the sarcophagus is opening?
Yes.
And the doctor thinks that one of them is going to be the next victim. But she says, it's got nothing in it. It's just full of lights and bubble wrap and shit.
Yeah.
And then you
We
hear...
cut to the chef.
Yes.
Yes.
That poor guy.
That poor guy. Poor man, he just wants to be chopping his vegetables.
Yeah.
And he sees, Mummy walking towards him.
It seems odd that he doesn't, like, try and stab it.
Yeah, he's just
He's
screaming.
got a knife in his hand.
Yeah.
Right? Is he
He's just full on
swinging that
screaming.
stuff around? And we know that it's not like a fear thing because we see later on characters use weapons to try and defend themselves against it. So
And are much more together with it. But yeah, he's just screaming.
yeah.
And then doesn't he end up locking himself in a freezer?
Yeah, he locks himself in a freezer, but then the thing
The thing teleports
in,
into the back, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And then he's dead.
gives him a little
Little touch, and he's dead.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we get another one, don't we, very soon after, because it's one of the guards.
Yeah.
And he like just starts firing off.
Yeah, he
shots.
just starts shooting his gun off, doesn't he?
And he gets got. But so we've already had 3 victims, and then doesn't the doctor then say, okay, enough of this? What kind of, who's orchestrating this? I kind of demand
Yeah, and then
instruction.
Gus pops up
Yeah.
vocally again, and it's like, yeah, you got me, ha ha ha.
And at the same time, doesn't then the train stop moving?
Train stops. The facade kind of
Yeah, the carriage
pulls
hologram
away.
goes away. We lose half of the occupants who are
Yeah,
holograms.
they're all-
Doesn't the captain say that was my best car?
Yes, yeah.
That is terrible, because if you look into that more, he had absolutely no like personal attachment to that man if he was a hologram.
Yeah, none at all. Yeah,
What clarifies his best guard? What did he had to do that gave him such a high
esteem
high
from this
opinion
guy.
of this guy? He was quiet, never ever.
Yeah, never spoke, never
Yeah,
said anything.
Never ever contradicted any of my orders.
Did his job.
What a guy. Doesn't Gus say something to the effect of, your challenge, because you essentially... Oh, no, we work out from the captain earlier in the episode that the majority of people in this carriage are like professors and doctors and
yeah.
people of science. And Gus wants these people to kind of come together and work out what the mummy's motive is. And
Yeah,
its
because they want
purpose.
to reverse engineer his abilities, don't they?
Yeah.
So they use him as a weapon.
And the doctor's on the phone.
Yeah, the doctor's on the phone to Clara.
And Gus asks multiple times, you turn that phone
Put that
off?
phone down. Doctor doesn't.
And man, isn't it pretty fucked what happens?
Oh, it's so harsh, man. It's so
What
harsh.
is it with Doctor Who and kitchen staff?
I feel like they've got
They are
something
the
against the
first to
catering
die.
staff, haven't they?
Because it's the same with the Voyage of the Damned. You
Yeah.
see most of them get like sliced up by the
Maybe the BBC catering crew isn't great.
Oh, surely it's got to be now. Maybe back then it wasn't.
Maybe.
Oh, well, so there's a funny little I'll have to send it to you because it's a behind the scenes of the end of series 4. Yeah, the end of series 4. And it's John Barrowman, Catherine Tate, actress of Rose Tyler, and David Tennant.
Billy Piper.
Thank you. Fuck me. And and they're all in a car together, and Catherine Tate's talking about I think they were having like a coffee or something, and in Billy's coffee there was just a singular bean.
Oh no!
And just calling it like a bean husk. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
yep.
and Catherine Tate was saying like, oh, you know, during these night shoots, we might get a pasty or maybe a pizza sometimes. So I don't think it was great for them back then.
Not from the sounds of it, no.
But I'd like to think two Doctor, you know, versions down the line that things would be slightly better.
You'd like
And
to
surely
hope so.
all of this would have been shot in a studio.
Yeah.
There wouldn't have been any
Yeah.
like weird locations.
No, I wouldn't have thought so.
No.
Yeah. Either way,
Yeah.
the poor kitchen staff
Yeah.
get
They-
sucked out into space.
They do.
Does he decompress the car?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Harrowing.
It's brutal. These poor buggers.
And yeah, we get some horrible close-ups of frozen peeps in space.
In space, yeah. And the Doctor finally hangs up.
We don't. I did have a look, and I think you may see a little bit of debris next to the ship. Oh, the carriages. I don't think you see any bodies then. So whether or not they get caught by a solar wind and get fucking
Maybe.
shot off. No, they go into the black hole. Oh no.
Oh,
Oh no.
maybe.
Oh god.
Jeez.
That's worse. And Gus is like, yeah, if you disobey me again, I'm just going to start. Doesn't he say something like,
I'll choose a random carriage.
no, it's worse than that. He says, I'll get rid of some more of the lesser
Oh,
like crew.
that might have been it, yeah.
Yeah. And the Doctor takes real umbrage with that, doesn't he? Because it's
Yeah.
like the lesser crew.
Lesser crew, and he's like, there's no lesser people, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Doctor kind of works out that the thing that they need to do is the next victim, he needs them to kind of describe what they're seeing.
Yeah.
So the next, I'm trying to remember, the next victim...
Is
isn't
the
it just-
professor. The professor that told the riddle.
Yeah.
Because he's fully at that point expecting the Doctor to solve it. So he starts off unpanicked
Yeah.
and telling them as much as he can. And then he
Yeah.
realises, oh, I'm not surviving this. And then
Yeah,
he
and
starts
he asks for
panicking.
clarification, doesn't he? He's like, no, you're not.
Yeah, no, I just need you to tell me information. I just need
Yeah.
data. Yeah.
Which again is awful.
Savage. Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know if it's particularly useful data he gives.
I don't think so. I think he says
It's
something like
in
he's
rags,
tall.
old rags. It's tall.
Yeah, it's tall, is in old rags, and is moving very slowly.
It's a mummy.
Yeah, literally. I think that's pretty much what he says. I don't know what you want me to tell you. It's a mummy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he, like you say, he does start to freak out towards the end because he's like, it's not my life. Because he tries to bargain with it, doesn't he? Like right towards the end.
I think he does, yeah, because he says that there are some myths where you can
certain
bargain for your
words.
life.
Yeah. It's a phrase or
That's
something.
it, yeah. He says about there being a phrase that would stop the mummy.
He don't find it.
He does not find the phrase.
And he
He gets dead.
He gets Oh, no, we can't do that. I was just thinking, like, if we ever released merch, it would be the podcast symbol on the front with a pear and Never Ever Eat Pears, and then it's just a snapshot of that guy with the caption, "He dead."
He gets dead.
He gets dead. Right, so we got that, and the next, don't we work out that it's targeting people with sicknesses,
Yes.
with illnesses of some kind?
Yeah, because don't we realise then that we had very, very old lady,
Yeah. We have kitchen staff with unique health issue.
some sort of blood disease.
Yeah.
Guard with replaced lungs.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
And
yeah.
then I think Professor Man had PTSD. from something?
I don't know if that was the captain, because the captain talks about being a survivor from the war.
Yeah, but I think that Professor had PTSD from car crash.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
And
yeah.
then that's what prompts Captain to then go to the Doctor. Oi, oi, I've got this going on.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah, because they wouldn't have made that link otherwise.
Yeah.
And
And the Doctor's like, yeah, it's going to be you then, mate, next, isn't it? Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how because I understand high stress situation, not thinking about your surroundings and stuff, but it's weird that he immediately jumps to the thing of, I'll be damned if I die with bullets in my gun.
in my gun.
Bang, bang, just starts firing away.
You're in a space
Yeah.
train. If
Yeah.
you break that window, everyone's going out that window.
I don't know if we establish...
Bulletproof windows.
Well, so there was... I can't remember if it was a Doctor Who episode. I've been watching so many different series at the moment. I can't remember where it was from. But there was something that talked about a bullet only working on organics and it doesn't like affect.
Oh.
I think it might have been Docky who. Yes, it was. It was the Satan pit. And when Rose like takes umbrage with the Colonel from firing at the Ood, he says, "Yeah, these bullets only work on organics because it would shatter the flat pack furniture."
Yeah.
Space station.
Yeah, no, I remember.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah. So maybe that's the thing.
Maybe.
Plot.
Yeah. And he gives a little bit more of a descriptive, I think.
Yeah, I think he's more descriptive somehow. I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember what he says that gives the description.
Does he say something about there being a mark on his chest?
Maybe, because it's not until the Doctor sees it that he then works out what that is.
Oh, because Gus has shown them he's got like a flag or a piece of fabric or something, isn't he?
Yeah, the tapestry or whatever that is.
Yeah, and I think he says something about there being a mark on his chest, and the Doctor thinks, oh, maybe it's the same mark. Can't remember. Either way, the Captain is more helpful than Professor Man.
Aren't we getting more kind of nefarious things being said by weird, grubby guy with cap character?
Oh yeah, I think Frank Skinner's popping up with some more like very unhelpful kind of vibes, isn't he?
Is this episode just trying to constantly red herring that he is in some way
Possibly bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just being too helpful to the Doctor, a little bit morbid about everything, and just very strange vibes.
So
I also don't know if it's just the way he acts.
I don't know.
Because I don't know. He's not an actor, is he? He's more a stand-up comedian who happened to like Doctor Who very much and got a spare part.
It's not quite as egregious as our Exorbiloff.
No, it's really not. It's not a Peter Kay moment.
No.
But either way, I don't know if it's just the vibe he gives or if it was a specific thing for him to be red herring.
Talking about comedians in the Doctor Who universe, not specifically Doctor Who, but the Sarah Jane Adventures, I don't know if you knew the actor who played Mr. Spellman in the episode all about the Zodiacs, and he kind of like takes control of all the symbols.
Yes.
He's a comedian.
Is he?
But again, they just don't use... He has no comedic chop moments.
That's
apart
really
from
weird.
his real overacting.
Yeah.
There's no
that
points
was
where he's
pretty
laying
rough.
down zingers. He's not...
Really strange choices
Yeah.
to bring in comedians. I don't know.
Yeah.
Obviously, even if they want to flex their acting skills,
Yeah, which is fair.
for sure. But yeah,
It just seems...
odd. Yeah.
So...
Don't we then get to a point where I think it's Frank Skinner that says, I think I know who's next. And it turns out that it's going to be... What are we calling her right now? Maisie.
Yeah. Flormash Fraser.
Flormash Tracy. That because she's gone through the trauma of losing whatever relative that was, it's going to be her next.
Let's unbag that a bit, because we kind of skipped over that massively. So she is feeling sad about her having died, but she did talk quite a few times about... Or clearly
how
not
awful
having...
she was.
Yeah, clearly not having a good relation with her and constantly kind of like thinking about what would happen if she passed on.
Yeah.
And then feeling guilty for that, because doesn't she feels somewhat responsible for that somehow.
I think she's got a lot going on in there, but I wouldn't say that she was the saddest of the crew members.
No.
I would say maybe that's Clara.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seemed like a very tenuous link to have it be her.
Yeah.
But
meh.
Plot.
So
again,
the Doctor calls up Clara, and for whatever reason, Gus is no longer taking umbrage with him using phone.
I think the Doctor says something about him needing to get Maisie back to continue the study. So Gus is like, I will allow the phone call. I think they say something about that.
Okay. And the Doctor very outright just says, like, you just lie to her. Just say,
lie to her, get her back.
I need her here.
Yeah.
And Clara
hates that.
Yeah, but she also does it.
She does it. But to be fair, what else is she going to do?
Yeah.
Because if she now knows that this thing is coming, what's she going to do? Just sit here with this woman and have no chance?
Yeah,
or
fair.
Take her to the Doctor and maybe have a chance?
Yeah.
Okay. I know she's lost all faith in the Doctor at this point, essentially, but I think she's got to this point of, well, what else am I going to do? I don't want to stand here and watch this woman die in front of me and be completely helpless.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
That was my logic.
No,
Just
I
thinking
like
about
it. It makes me feel better about it. So she very reluctantly, and I don't know why this woman is not questioning. I don't know why Florence Frazee is not questioning Clara at all. Like, she's walking through the carriage, stony face, does not look back at her once.
No,
and she's like, "Oh, this is great. You know, I knew he was a good man. He could save me." And Clara at no point is like, "Yeah, you're right."
Yeah, no.
She just walks on.
She's not offering any kind of
No.
good vibes
No.
at this point.
But for whatever reason, she ain't picking up on it until she gets in the carriage, and for whatever reason was like, that was the point where she was like, "Why were you lying to me?"
Yeah.
And then finally clocks it, and points, and there's our big old.
There's our big old mummy boy.
We also kind of skipped a point where the mummy isn't. I hope I'm using this term correctly, but it's not entirely corporeal. Like, it's not physical.
Yeah, it's in phase or something.
Yeah,
isn't it?
because
And
the doctor, when he's asking the professor where the mummy's standing, and he says something like 20 feet in front of him, the doctor then stands in its way, and it like passes through him. And so
I think we've discovered as well that it takes itself 60 odd seconds to come out of phase in order to take. No, that was what it is. Frank Skinner says it takes it about a minute to take its victim out of phase, kill it, and then be done. So that it's only targeting its victim rather than anybody else. So that, So
Okay.
they've discovered the 66 seconds element as well.
do we get a bit of vague Doctor Who science? Because I feel like we do in this moment where the doctor's like, "You have emotion.
Zap!
Take
Clink!
emotion in me now. I am emotion."
Yeah. Good old Sonic zapping emotions out of somebody and giving it to himself. Yeah. Because he's got to be sad at this point as well, because he knows it's coming to the end with Clara.
Yeah.
So I don't know why it's. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe guilt is sickness. I don't.
Maybe.
I don't know.
And also, wait, whoa! If the mummy went for the old lady because she was old, the doctor's much older than the old lady.
Yeah, but you
I
can
know
argue that the doctor, like,
Different,
her
different
age
being.
was making her vulnerable.
Yeah.
And like she was
Maybe.
needing a life support system and stuff, whereas the doctor doesn't to
true,
survive
true.
his current state.
Take it back.
I don't know if you should, because it's flimsy as hell. We're grasping straws here. 'Cause
Flimsy
we've already
as
said that
anything.
somehow the guilt of of like this woman losing this woman who she didn't really like but feels somewhat responsible for is somehow worse than Clara's guilt for what she's done to Danny and still doing
And is going to do to the doctor.
and the guilt of the doctor and the numerous things that he's done that's a bit shady and stuff and all that shit.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Either way, zappy
Important
zap.
elderly lady, yeah. Now has emotion. Mummy disappears from Florence Frazee and appears in front of the
Yeah.
Oh man. And starts to come towards him, and he works out that these inscriptions on the mummy's chest are part of some kind of flag.
Yeah.
It's there's a lot of loosey-goosey stuff going on here.
There's a lot of grabbing and
flag,
stabbing in the dark.
Soldier.
Yeah. And then somehow realizing that this poor soldier must still be in battle. So what's the way that's to stop the battle?
I surrender.
To surrender.
Yeah.
Ta-da!
I don't know. It does feel like at that point the writers kind of gave up.
They couldn't think of an
No.
idea of how to stop the battle.
Like, there's a lot going on here. Like, why is this thing appearing as a mummy? Why is there a sarcophagus?
Yeah. We never find that out.
Like, I guess this thing's being transported, maybe. What? I don't even know if that makes sense, because then...
So I think the doctor ends up saying it's like an ancient warrior with space tech inside him.
Yeah, it's an ancient warrior with malfunctioning tech.
Yeah.
Vague, whatever.
Very vague.
And Gus is like, "Yes, well done.
Well done, Bish.
Well done, you guys. Now
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking kill you all."
Because once he says he's surrendered, everyone can then see.
Yes.
And then we
everyone
get
can see
that
the mummy.
weird salute
Yeah,
from the mummy. Then he disintegrates, doesn't he?
Yes.
And leaves behind some weird
Box
tech
thing,
heart
Yeah.
box. Yeah. Yeah. And Gus is like, "I want that. Thank you very much. The rest of you,
You're fucked.
you're done.
Yeah.
I'm going to kill you all." And starts taking the air out of the
Yeah. And
carriage, doesn't he?
the Doctor tries to
Does he then use the tech, the mummy's teleport tech to get everybody onto the TARDIS?
I don't know. I don't know whether that's because he talks about a couple of seconds later. He talks about trying to use the TARDIS to figure out who Gus was and stuff, and that supposedly blew up the train.
Blew up the train.
So I don't know whether. I don't know. Scene smash cuts to beach.
Yeah. Another beach.
Yeah.
Another beach.
I don't know. Maybe they're
What is
inundated
it?
with beach locations, but I love.
Yeah.
No, so I don't know if we're getting this wrong because we've already done it once in this episode. So what happens first? Do we get beach scene or do we get departure with grubby man scene? First?
Beach scene.
Beach scene first. Okay.
I think, yeah, beach
Right.
scene.
Okay.
He's swaddled Clara up in a blanket,
it's a nice little
which
blanket.
is very sweet.
Yeah, I like it.
And he's just sitting there drawing in the sand.
Yeah,
isn't he?
very autistically like
shapes.
I don't want to be here. I want to be here, but I don't want to be here when
Yeah.
this woman wakes up.
Yeah.
And he, again, like it's a very kind of dark way that he's talking about having saved everyone, and then when Clara questions him further, he's like, "No, I lied. Everyone's fucking dead."
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah. He does his little joke, doesn't he? And then
Yeah.
she's like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "Is it actually easier for you to believe that I'm horrible?"
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we get whatever that was.
I don't know, but then doesn't he say? She then acts surprised that he saved everybody.
Yeah.
You're like, why is that a surprise to you? Like, I know he's messed around, but he has never not saved, or at least tried to save everyone. And then he says that wonderful thing about sometimes the only choices you've got are bad ones, but you still have to choose.
Yes, I do love that.
I love it because it's so true.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
so true. And she does this whole like look where she's like, oh, pondering everything again. You're like, oh, stop it.
It takes me back kind of like to the impossible choice on Gallifrey to
Yeah,
do the big red button
big red button.
to wipe out the Time Lords and the Daleks,
Yeah.
and that's the only thing that they can kind of do.
But he's got to make the choice.
Did you ever play the Halo series at all, or are you familiar with it?
No.
at all? So there's a similar kind of scenario where there's almost like a zombie outbreak of a creature known as the Flood, and it's like a hive mind, for want of a better word, mushroom species that
Okay.
that leech on other beings and therefore take them over and take over whole cities and stuff. And there's this ancient race of creatures known as the Forerunners that create halo rings, which are in their own right planets. And they have like an ecosystem that goes in the inner ring, and it's just a big metal ring in space. But when the halo rings are activated, they set off essentially a wave bomb that wipes out all life and essentially wipes out the food supply for the Flood.
Oh God. Okay.
But they have to do that because they attempt to fight the Flood, much like the Daleks, and there's no way to quell the outbreak.
Yeah.
So that's the only way.
The only way to do it.
But obviously, there wouldn't be any story if that wiped out all life permanently. They have like robots with gene pods that they then repopulate
Oh, okay.
and restart evolution off from scratch. But yeah, that was just kind of the parallel that I had there. So the Doctor's back on the TARDIS with Grubby McGrub and
And Clara's there too. Eh?
Clara's there too. He's like looking at the exhaust manifold or something?
Yeah, he says something
vague
about your-
science of the TARDIS.
Your drive shaft's busted or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know where, because this guy seems to be throughout the entire episode the smartest one there, and yet he has probably the most supposed mundane
job. He's the engineer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is spouting out all these very quick, very accurate scientific things about the TARDIS and the happenings within the episode.
Yeah.
And doesn't the Doctor asked him if he wants to come with him?
Yeah.
He offers
You
him
like, do
a
you want to
place.
come with me?
Again, is that quite like a... I hate just constantly lumping it in with like autistic traits, but like when you're losing something, you'll do if you don't think you can have the thing that you're losing, you'll try and find anything to replace it in the moment.
I think it's a very honest loneliness coming out of
yeah.
him. He's like, oh, I'm about to be completely alone again, and I don't want to be.
No.
So I think it was that But then I also read that Frank Skinner was just a massive fan of Doctor Who, so they filmed one version of his character saying, "Yeah, sure, I'll come with you."
I really?
Yeah, and he just got
wow.
to keep like the B-roll of him going,
That's
"Yeah, I'll come
lovely.
with you."
That's so nice.
Because he says he can't come, doesn't he? Because he's like, I think that will change a man to do this kind of travelling. The Doctor's
Yeah.
like, hell yeah, it does.
I am sad in a way that he didn't come along.
I quite liked him. I know he was weird, and they did this whole weird red herring thing, but it was pretty fun.
I've always maintained that maybe apart from the Jodie era, the most exciting TARDIS dynamic has always been when there's been multiple people on board.
Yeah.
Like if you look at Mickey, Jack and Rose,
Brilliant.
as being one of my favourites, or of course Amy and Rory.
Yeah.
Um,
I think there's so much more to work with when you've got multiple dialogue people. Multiple people talking at
or like
all
Jamie
at
from
once.
Classic Who and people like
Yeah.
that. But
Just a little
unfortunately,
bit more.
he does leave.
He does. Bye-bye,
So-
Frank Skinner.
Are we now getting the departure, not departure scene on the TARDIS? What the fuck is this? Explain to me, Pete, what is happening?
I don't know, man. I just know that Clara's now suddenly decided, oh, okay, maybe the Doctor's not quite so bad. I'll stick
Why
with him
does
again.
it feel like the writing for the newest Star Wars films, where someone did a load of work? Imagine these as the parallel. So Clara's leaving the TARDIS, and someone wrote this really, really well. This final kind of goodbye finale.
Yeah.
In Kill the Moon, where she's about to leave, and that should have been it.
Mm-hmm.
But then, so that was Star Wars Episode 7, Snoke being created, this big menacing character, and then The Last Jedi comes along. Clara's now changing her mind, and it comes out of nowhere and left field. And in Episode 8, The Last Jedi, they kill off Snoke.
They kill off Snoke. Yeah. Why get rid of this phenomenal character?
Yeah,
Yeah. And so easily. So easily. Anyway.
Yeah, no, you're right. And
Yeah, they just made this 180 again.
And again, like I said in last time's episode, that it makes the impact of that argument so much less.
So much less.
Had there been maybe a long period of time
Yeah.
between it, maybe if Clara, I don't know how feasible this would have been, but maybe Clara had come back as an older character or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, or maybe the Doctor got into scrapes and for whatever reason he was travelling with Danny for a little bit, so Danny would then be the one to kind of encourage Clara to forgive him or something like that.
Yeah.
But there was nothing. The Doctor once again put Clara through hell.
Yeah.
Is Clara a bit fucked up?
I think she must be.
Because then she had to make a decision where she could have potentially killed that lady. She
Yeah.
could have killed Flamage Frey and
literally led her to her death.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
And then also, got the air sucked out of the room she was in, fell unconscious, woke up on a random beach thinking everybody had died,
yeah.
only to then be toyed with again.
Why is she not? No, I actually kind of like this.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like there was anything about this adventure that would have made her change her mind.
No.
Except for the Doctor giving her sad puppy eyes.
And that does feel like, again, the kind of episode 7, episode 8 formula where they wrote a departure and someone wanted to ignore that completely and 180 it and just be like, no, Clara's still here.
Yeah. And it, again, doesn't make sense for an incredibly clever character to then lie to two men at once and try and think that that's going to work. Especially when one of the other blokes is incredibly bloody clever as well.
Yeah.
And will probably eventually figure it out. And it just doesn't make character sense to me for her to lie and say, yeah, Danny's fine with this shit, let's carry on. It doesn't make sense.
No. But for whatever reason, she does.
She does. And the Doctor is so happy, breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Just
it is sad.
he's so happy that she's decided to say yes and stay again. And he doesn't question it. He doesn't go, wait, what?
He does question it once, where he says, "Are
you sure that Danny's okay with this?"
Yeah,
I think.
but
he
that
says.
is it. Like, it's a very.
He doesn't linger
No.
on the suspense. He's
No.
just happy, which is adorable.
Yeah,
and then
very
she's
sad.
just like, yeah. yeah, woo. It's just an odd decision. It's a very odd decision.
It is a shame that Clara didn't get to depart in that way from Kill the Moon.
Yeah.
Because it would have then... I would have enjoyed more kind of... And we know that it can work because we do have further down the line solo Capaldi stories.
Yes.
Have some of that and then lead into a new companion. But for
Could have even been from Mudge Frazee. That's the new
I don't know
companion.
about that. I probably prefer Grubby McGrubs over
Yeah.
my phrase, but
But I feel like they do this relatively... I say relatively. At least one more time with Clara. Give her a perfect ending and then take it away. Last Christmas.
wait, is last Christmas our Nick Frost episode?
Yes.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I
I feel like they could have ended her story there perfectly. It was heartbreaking. It was perfect, sad Christmas.
I feel like we're going to have a lot. In fact, I'm going to want to get Donna on for that episode just because I don't know about you, but I know her and I at least have a huge appreciation for Nick Frost.
I
as an
love
actor.
Nick Frost so much.
And all the other roles that he's been in. I don't know about you, but I think he was underutilized
Oh, so much.
in that role. And it amazes me that a dynamic duo like Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, their two episodes are so far apart from one
So
another.
far apart. Like, so disconnected from each other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, we'll get there.
We'll get there.
We'll
We will
explore
get
how
there.
underutilized that actor was. But
yeah,
the episode just kind of ends with Clara just telling him to shut up and just show me planets.
Show me planets. Yeah. Take me to planets that you were talking about on the train.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
And that's it. we fly away.
I am excited for the next time episode
Yes.
because there's a lot to talk about.
I like that one.
in that one. But once
Yeah.
again,
To be fair, the next two I enjoy.
Yeah.
I enjoy this whole series. But yeah, the next two are a lot of fun.
but once again, thank you so much, Pete, for joining us
No,
for
of
another
course.
episode of Never Ever Eat Pears.
4 of them.
Yeah, don't worry, there won't be any more.
I don't believe you anymore.
That's fine. But yes, thank you so much for listening. We are a tiny wee podcast starting out, so if you do have any Whovian fan friends, do share this about. We are currently only on YouTube and Spotify, but if you would like to leave a comment, we'd love for you to do so, and we'll read it out on an episode.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear what you think. But until the next time, Pete and I are heading into time and space.
Moisturize me, moisturize me.